in general, honestly, fuck that. In general, irks the fuck out of me. Cause I'm like, this is not, you know, Westeros. The worst thing that happened to your child if you fuck your sibling and have a child with them is not they come out, a little sadistic, a little crazy like Joffrey. No. You ever seen The Substance? You're gonna get that. Happy New Year, guys. How you doing? You doing good? You ready to learn? Let's get into it. Welcome to 2026. Yeah. Honestly, 2025 was quite the fucking year. I'm very glad that it's over. Wouldn't want to relive it for the world. But let's get started and talk about the very first person we are starting 2026 off with, Caligula. Now, I literally, so funny, when I first learned about him, I think I was probably like 17, something like that, 18 years old, and I learned about it because, like I always have, 8 times out of 10, a show that goes along with whatever I'm talking about, and Roman Empire, once again, the same show I recommended back in the Julius Caesar video. I hope y'all watched it by now. It's a very, very good show. It's on Netflix. Like, just go and watch it. So his season was very interesting, mainly because I never even like heard of this man. And then when I learned about him, I was like, how have I not heard of this man? And so I remember I was telling my dad about it, and I was like, Dad, there's this dude called Emperor Caligula, yada 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 yada, right? So my dad, right, he works in the business world, if you will, and I told him about that, and he was like, Caligula is a term in the business world. And I was like, a term in the business world? True or false? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say, no, it's not. But he had told me that if you were called a Caligula, you were just an asshole or like a greedy ass motherfucker that nobody fucking liked, but no one ever said that to your face. And I was like, T. So I find that really funny. But yeah, let's talk about who this crazy ass man was. In terms of his lineage, he actually really has like a pretty good lineage. Pretty good lineage. Am I okay? His father, Germanicus, right, was a well-known general, right? He was very good at his job, he was very good at what he did, he was like very well respected as well, i.e. so was his family, i.e. so was Caligula, right? But he was also the heir apparent to the Julio-Claudian dynasty. That's interesting. What the fuck? He was just considered like the peak Roman man, what a Roman man was, like what that entailed, what like, aura, if you will, it gave off. It was this nigga. Now his mama, right? Agrippina the Elder, okay, she was the granddaughter of Emperor Augustus, like OG Emperor Augustus. That's also really fucking cool. She was very politically like savvy and shit like that, and also very, very ambitious. So she was that bitch, to put it plainly. Now, okay, Caligula isn't exactly his like for real. It's like a nickname, it's kind of like how like when kings do some fuck shit and like like they're known for that, or they have some kind of like physical, I'm not even gonna say deformity, just fucking feature, and like that like becomes their name in history. Like they have their name, obviously, usually it's like included somewhere in the name, but like for this guy it's not. For example, Charles the Fat ass king. Or you have Edward Longshanks, and you'd be like, Longshanks, what the fuck? Wait, why is he called Edward Longshanks? It's just because he was lanky. That's it. But anyway, his name is a motherfucking mouthful, okay? Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus. These names, it's just like, oh my gosh. It's so funny. Taking Latin for as long as I fucking took it, like, suffixes, and it's like, okay, cool, I guess certain letters, certain, endings or like that are for masculine or for whatever the fuck. I get it. But the names, especially because they're so long and they all end with the same US, I'll be like, it's like, fries my brain. But oh boy, he was born on August 31st, 12 CE. He is a fellow Virgo. I don't know why I did that. We do not claim this man. He was born in Antium, which is modern day Anzio, Italy. Cool. I do think it's cool. I'm not being funny. I do think it's cool. Italy's really cool. Love you, Italy. But he was called Caligula because Caligula just means little boots. like little itty bitty boots. And it was like this because when he was a child, like his upbringing was very much like not giving that of like a respected like Roman family, if you will, you know, because it was just like, okay, maybe, you know, you'll grow up learning how to read, learning how to write, ways of business, yada yada, and you in the crib, right? Well, Caligula was out here with his daddy on the battlefield. Like, his dad was out and about just doing stuff, and Caligula was like, I want a PB&J. Take your kid home, bro. But he was called Caligula because he would walk around in the big soldier's boots or in soldier's boots, and they would be really cute on him because like a little 8-year-old nigga talking about some fuck you, Gaul. Like, but when I say he didn't have like a normal upbringing, I mean that like he was exposed like way too early. Like, obviously in this like time and age and whatever the fuck you want to call it, like they would be exposed to like political stuff and like business stuff probably around like, you know, maybe 14, 15 maybe. I don't fucking know, bro. But like he was like being exposed to this when he was like 6 and 8. Bro doesn't even know what 2 + 12 is. During this time when he would be out and about with his father on military campaigns, he wasn't just going out here to do shit, you know what I mean? Because, okay, Rome was being ruled by this fuck nigga named Tiberius, right? And I say he's a fuck nigga because I probably, like, I don't even know how long that video would be, honestly, because I don't want to research this nigga for real. Like, I know some shit about him, but, like, you know, I go in depth with shit like this, so I have to look up and get my sources right. But, like, ooh, it's just what I know off the top of my head when I hear his name. It just makes me, like, my stomach hurts. When I think of Emperor Tiberius, I think of the fact that he's a sexual deviant. Oh my god, a sexual deviant emperor in Rome. Water's wet. But like with him, it was like little fishes. Do you know what little fishes are? I don't mean the glubba glubba ones. I don't mean the amphibians. He would take like just children. Girl. He would take children to his island on Capri, right? Love Capri. He would get in the water around this island, right? Completely naked, booty crack out all the way, right? He would get in this water and then he would have the children get in the water with him. They're also naked. And he would be in that bitch and be like, okay, now bite my ankle. Bite your ankle. I really think we've lost the plot of this movie now. Yeah? Because, but yeah, he would like, and not only his ankle, like he would have them bite him like everywhere. And I don't know if he would just be like jerking off in the fucking water while he's getting bit on like some minnows are eating him. But it's like, ugh. You a nasty nigga, bro. So when I hear his name, I think of that. So there was this thing that was like a rule in Rome for a while. At this point, it wasn't like banished, but it wasn't like so like aggressively upheld. No, I want a synonym for upheld. I can't find one. Okay. It was called the Law of Treason, which is like, you know, something that I feel like the kings of England really fucking loved. But like, listen, so essentially it meant that literally anybody, it didn't matter who you were, who your family was, how much money you had, who you thought you were, you could literally get accused of treason and be completely convicted for it with no evidence, if any. And it wasn't for anything like super heinous either you can get accused of. Like, you could literally just be like, oh my god, Tiberius, like, did you see his toga today? Like, it still have his shoulder, that was kind of funny. Also, the color kind of washed him out. All of a sudden, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no land, you ain't got no family, you ain't got no head, you ain't got no throat. I ain't even say nothing bad. It was shit like that. So like everyone that lived in Rome was like always in a constant state of like fear and anxiety, which is so horrible, right? So in 26 CE, he decided, you know what? I think I've grown tired of torturing my people with these just outrageous demands of absolute loyalty. I'm gonna go abuse some kids on Capri.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
What are we doing? Can we stop? So he ends up going to Capri, and it's noted as kind of like a retreat-esque, like he went on his Jet 2 holiday to fucking Capri to be a fucking weirdo. So like I said before, he was doing all that with them damn kids, but then he was also there plotting murders just cause he was like OD paranoid. It was like, bro, where's my pen? I'm gonna give it to you. So while he was in Capri, because he was the emperor, someone obviously had to be a VP, but obviously we all learned from Julius Caesar and Mark Antony to watch who you put in the fucking position when you want to go somewhere. So he had this dude named Sejanus. Juju, he was the one watching over Rome while Tiberius was getting bid on. And so, okay, I'm gonna say this because I read it and I was like, that's fucking crazy and deja vu. But like, okay, not confirmed. Put it out there right now. Not confirmed. No concrete 110%. Oh yeah, this was definitely there as evidence of this. Absolutely not. But niggas was out here saying, bro. When this nigga Tiberius was out here on Capri, yes, I said that he brought kids. Duh, when he first got there, he brought kids. But as he stayed there longer, and unfortunately, like, you know, because we are human beings and we do age, and, you know, pervy niggas don't like that shit. He apparently, like I said, he would have like secret tunnels, secret passageways. Am I having a stroke? Secret passageways, okay, where people would go out through these passageways onto the like, streets of Capri and just snatch you the fuck up, drag you back to his crib through these secret underground passageways, and then you wake up and you're out here talking about some, all right, get up, you gotta bite the Emperor's kneecap. Girl. So with this going on, rumors of this going on, obviously Capri was looked at as a place where it's just like, okay, like, you know, it's pretty as fuck there, but if you want to go, get one of them leash backpacks for your kids, because they might get snatched the fuck up. So it became like a symbol of fear, but also imperial power, which is so like, that's crazy. Like, was that like a, was that like the main part of why you wanted to go to Capri, Tiberius? Or did you just, like, think about that on the way that, like, weirdo? I don't know. I'm thinking too hard about this. He's a weird fucking weirdo. I don't know. Let's move forward. So how this intertwines with Old Boy. So in 19 CE, right? A couple years before Tiberius even came there to be all fucking weird and shit like that, his father dies, right? Germanicus just fucking dies, right? And it's like, I say just fucking dies because he dies under weird circumstances. Some niggas say poison, other niggas say assassination. Who the hell knows? I'm not gonna say who the hell cares because I low-key wanna know too. So his mother, like I said, she was a baddie herself, right? So she was very, 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 very popular with the people, and it was well known that she did not like that nigga Tiberius, right? So Tiberius was worried that she was gonna get all of her peoples together that support her and supported her husband, who now support their son, Caligula, to be like, oh, let's rally. So he felt like she was a political threat. Reasonably so. Reasonable conclusion to come to, because yeah, she was. So what did Tiberius decide to do? Use his favorite law, bro. He started saying that everybody, I'm talking about everybody in Caligula's family, his mama, his siblings, his cousins, everybody, they all committed some form of treason. And like I said before, you don't have to have evidence to get convicted, especially if it's the emperor that's saying you got it. He the one that passes the sentence. So he started exiling his family, right? Then he was like, I don't know. Then he just started killing his family members. And it was like, all right. His mother ended up getting exiled and died in exile, literally from starvation, because nobody went to go fucking help her. He had this idea, and I'm sure she set it in motion to a certain extent, but as soon as he found out about it and started doing something about it, I'm sure all them niggas pulled back. And as soon as they saw her get exiled, I'm sure they double pulled back. Agrippina, what is that, a fruit? So, so even though he did all of this, basically eradicated the entire family lineage, oh my god, he didn't kill Caligula because Caligula was like super young. So he figured, okay, maybe he won't even remember any of this. And I can mold him into somebody that I can control. So he won't come out here and be like, well, I want to be ruler too. Move over, grandpa. He was worried about that. So he took in Caligula under his wing. And this is what gets me, because honestly, I've seen this so much on Threads. I love Threads. Like, sometimes people go on there and they think that, like, I don't know. Like, you just don't become like a human being and have human being functions until you're like probably 16 or something like that. Because I can tell you how many things I've seen on Threads where it's like, oh, I did XYZ in front of my kid to my kid, but they're too young, they're not gonna remember. They're gonna remember. Yeah, they're gonna remember some crazy ass shit. Caligula's gonna remember his whole family getting slaughtered off of paranoia. Even if Agrippina got all those people to like be on her side and support her, would they have genuinely like done something to Tiberius about it? Probably fucking not. Honestly, Probably not. So in 37 CE, Tiberius finally dies, making Caligula the heir. He made Caligula his heir while he was raising him. Very interesting. But here's the thing. Because of what happened when Caligula was a kid, it completely, and then also, not even that, also just how Tiberius was as a fucking person, it completely shaped his whole upbringing in two different scenarios, but the same fucking nigga to just, like, I don't even know, revel in paranoia. Like, I really think, like, that's fucking crazy. And then also, like, coupling that with a distinct desire for revenge, I feel like. What's interesting is that a lot of the people, not even a lot of them, the fucking people, like, they loved Caligula because he represented Germanicus, who was a, like I said before, ideal Roman man. Everybody knew him, everybody loved him, and his mama. So it was like a restoration of Germanicus's legacy back on the throne, and they were so fucking happy. He gave gifts to everybody. People who were wrongly exiled under Tiberius was welcomed back into Rome, including his family and things like that. So he became popular very, very, very fast. So he enjoyed a very good period of just genuine peace because everyone liked him. But then tragedy strikes, right? In 37 CE, he got super sick, and they fell asleep into a coma basically for a really long period of time. He wakes up eventually, thank God, right? But not really though, because when he woke up, it was like a switch flipped. And honestly, oh, my hair went in my eye. Oh my fucking God. So after he woke up, he was erratic. He was OD paranoid. He was paranoid before, but now he's like, relax, all right? He's bordering on Tiberius right now, okay? He was basically just a walking ball of anxiety, right? Unnaturally cruel and deadass, low-key, sum it all up, umbrella term, a fucking maniac. Now, you could possibly be like, okay, maybe, you know, he did, to a certain extent, forget how brutal his family was, like, treated when he was a kid. As he grew up, he just, like, you know, stopped thinking about it, and eventually just, it wasn't even in the forefront. It was, like, in a subconscious. And then when he got sick, he had, like, a dream, or memory, like, came back, and he saw it. And then he woke up and he was like, what the fuck are my niggas on? I don't know. I'm not, what is it called? I'm not a neurologist. So this is where we're gonna get a little bit weird, but I feel like, so remember when I said that when he became emperor, he recalled people from exile, people just like his family members, right? So three of them who returned were his three sisters. Agrippina the Younger, Drusilla, right? And Julia Livilla. I love the girls' names when they have two of them in the same first name. Kind of like how you meet folks whose name is like Mary Kate or Mary Louise or like Julia Rose. I met a Julia Rose. It was very cute. She was very earthy, but like very, very cute. I love that. So even though we are in this like patriarchal society, every member of family lineage matters. So at first, people were very excited that Caligula was on the throne because it was like, all right, Germanicus' line, this is the last person. Yes, 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 yes. Because everyone thinks that when you go into exile, you just wind up dying at some point, so they end up forgetting you, right? So when he brings back three of his sisters, the crowd has gone wild. So to break them down, Agrippina the Younger, who's, you know, named after the mom, she was probably the most politically ambitious one and probably made it out the best, all things considering. Okay, so quick rundown on his sisters, right? Agrippina the Younger, who's named after the mom, obviously Agrippina the Elder, she was one of the most ambitious women. Drusilla was considered to be the most beautiful of the sisters, right? And at this point, she had already found a husband, so she was already married, right? This is also the sister that he took, like, the most favor towards. Right. Julia Livilla, not much known about her. She's probably like the youngest daughter. I feel like she's probably like reserved or something like that, very quiet, or just generally didn't like involve herself in like political BS at the moment. So, okay. So two ancient historians, right? Suetonius and Tacitus, these two guys, they like outwardly be like, yeah, this definitely happened. This nigga was crazy. Of course he would do this too. They outwardly claimed that Caligula had incestuous relations with his sisters. All three. Crazy as fuck, right? But the most significant of these relationships and the one that he cared about the most was Drusilla, which is so crazy because, like, Also, I found that like Agrippina, right, her crazy ass, she understood what he wanted to do. She understood that he was like, I want to keep the bloodline pure. Yeah. And so she went along with it. Encouraged even. This is like, sibling relationships back then need to be studied, and I feel like sibling relationships back then, like, for some reason it just wasn't treated as like proper siblings by some people, because what the fuck are we talking about right now? There's so many people that I could talk about literally right fucking now, but I'm not, because I don't want to make this video too long. That like in history they're just siblings. Everything is cool, everything is fine, and then at one point someone is like, okay, that looks kind of weird, but like, you know, sibling love, they can hug each other, it's fine, it's cool. Now they're just full on tonguing each other in the corridor. Is anyone seeing this? And then that person ends up getting like killed, and it's like, why does this keep happening? What is this like that's why this whole pure bloodline argument, political maybe, pure bloodline like argument going on in this country in general, honestly, fuck that, in general, irks the fuck out of me, because I'm like, this is not, you know, Westeros. The worst thing that happened to your child if you fuck your sibling and have a child with them is not they come out, you know, a little sadistic, a little crazy like Joffrey. No. You ever seen The Substance? You're gonna get that. Monstro Elisa Sue. Like, what do we talk, like, but anyway, Caligula really liked Drusilla, right? So much so that when she was alive, he treated her as his wife in all but name, which I find really fucking weird. Like, you have favoritism, I guess. You have admiration, sure, for your younger sibling, but it's just like, wife? And you know what made the incest allegations like 45 fucking times worse? When she died in 38 CE, first of all, I have siblings, I have 3. If they died, I would be, honestly, on top of my roof. So, no. But I get being overly sad about a sibling death. I do. I get that. However, when you try to make her a goddess, build statues in her honor in the same format in which you would build a statue for like Venus or something, you start being like, you gotta give her offerings, you gotta send her prayers. I don't know, gang. Then when you add on a Rome-wide mourning, like you're in mourning for your sister, obviously, but now you want everybody else in the entire fucking city to be mourning for your sister, after breaking my back all day to build that 25-foot statue of her. And then you change laws so that she can be honored in any way possible. Baby, you're not doing anything for yourself right now. Everybody think yo was fucking now. No. The only siblings in which this would probably work for, and I use that fucking loosely, is Sepia and Sepius from Spartacus. And I thought they were weird when they first popped on my screen. So when she couldn't kill that man in that party scene and Alithia did it, and she's behind the fucking curtain, she was crying, and brother was like, why do you do this to yourself? Brrrr. Real as fuck. I mean, Vernius. I get it. I get what she was trying to do and why. I'm with you right here, sister, but I get it. I don't know if I could stab that man either. But then when she was crying and then nigga gave her a fucking kiss on her mouth and said, let's leave this place and seek comfort in each other's warm embrace. And now that may sound like, oh, I'll give you a big old hug. Maybe so. But in the context of this show, whenever anybody says something about some fucking warm embrace, they want some cootie cat. They want some dick. They want to go have sex. Like, it's like, you know, side note, I read that season 3 was supposed to be an introduction of the incest siblings, right? Sepia and Sepius were supposed to go that incest route, but what was going on at the same time as this season was airing, they was picking up much more traction and ended up not being able to do it. Game of fucking Thrones. Isn't that so crazy? But honestly, I feel like shows in that period of time, like 2010 to early 2010s, they were on a roll with them fantasy period pieces, just doing fuck shit just cause. Like, because that's crazy. Because I can't imagine, I don't know what day Spartacus would come out. Maybe it was Fridays like it is now, but like, I can't imagine Friday night, alright, you watch Spartacus, you watch some fuck shit go down, you watch these 2 siblings who you already thought were weird start kissing each other in an episode. Damn, that's crazy as fuck. Then the following Sunday or Monday, I don't know which one it was in Game of Thrones series, I forgot, but following the week, Game of Thrones airs. Oh, this is so cool. What's this about? Okay, these 2 siblings, that's the queen, that's the queen's brother. What's going on now? Why is that little kid being pushed out a window? That would be so crazy. But yeah, he was not doing himself any favors in regards to those rumors. None. Suetonius was the one that also said that he had relations with all of the other sisters as well, right? Agrippina and then Julia. Now, I find that horrific. Mostly because of what I said before, she was more than likely down for it. You know, it's a horrible thing to do regardless. It's also really horrible to do it if the person's not willing, right? But it's like heinous, blasphemy, heresy. You deserve purgatory, bitch. If you're down to fuck your brother and have a kid with your brother, you'll share that same sick-ass mindset. Both need to go. On a list. Gone. Leave. Go away. So what he ended up doing at one point was he drafted a list of all of the senators who were ruling, not really ruling, but like sitting in the Senate while Tiberius was ruling, right? So he rounded up all the names of the ones that said yes to the immense slaughter, decimation, whatever you want to call it, of his family when he was a child. Drafted that bitch up, walked before them niggas and was like, okay, so you wanted to kill them, you wanted to kill them, you want to exile them, you want to have them strangled in their sleep. I took note of you. Bitch, what the hell? And this is all post he's waking up, right? So they're already seeing how he's going crazy and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Something's really, really wrong with him. And then he pulls up with that list of names. Ooh, baby. He didn't do anything to all of them, but he did like arbitrarily like execute them like the most like randomest points and always went back to that. And it was just like, okay, all right, gang. But this is what I mean when I said earlier, like he has this thing of like untapped revenge weaved into him because it happened to his family. Reasonably so. But oh my god, I mean, do what you gotta do, you know? Shoot, I love the glory, I love a revenge tale, but what are these side quests with your sisters about? What, I don't, was that part of the plot, or like, is that plot armor? At one point he did state that he wanted to have his horse, you know, his horse be a senator. Obviously showcasing his lack of respect for the Senate, and obviously showcasing how he views them. Fucking animals. But then on top of that, he's breaking the bank. He's spending money that we don't have. He's throwing all these parties, having all these sexual escapades, paying all these people, ordering all this shit, wasting all this shit, and literally putting the empire in debt just for what? Good food? Figs? Another thing was at one point when he had us over to go to war, right? It's called the War of Neptune. Very, very funny. Had him go to war. And obviously when you go to war and you take control over a bunch of people, an army or whatever, you take whatever they have. Obviously, right? They're dead, they don't need it. So that's called their spoils, right? So at one point he told these guys, I guess they had some kind of battle on the ocean, near the ocean, by the water, whatever you want to call it. He said, go collect seashells. Huh? Seashells? What are we gonna do with seashells, sir? What are we going to do with seashells, sir? What's that gonna do with us? Then he would also do just a large series of public humiliations every single day. He would have the senators doing shit the senators don't usually do. When the fuck, can you imagine, bro? Can you imagine being at your little stand, selling your, where are we, Rome? What are we selling? I don't know, wheat. At a little stand out here, you know, minding your business in the city, right in the market square, and you just see literally a Roman senator, bright white toga and all, doing errands, running errands. There's your girl stand down the fucking street getting a fucking papaya for the emperor. I don't know if they had papayas. We're gonna say that they did. Getting a papaya, like, that's crazy. And just go to like weird ass performances, represent like weird ass like Kama Sutra ass shit going on in a play or a theater, and Senator was like, I don't want to go, that's not cool, that's depraved. And the emperor was just like, okay, you're still gonna go, but okay. So with all this going on, it's no secret that he had made a lot of enemies, because when you treat people like shit, they're not gonna fucking like you. And if you treat enough people like shit for enough period of time, a lot of people aren't gonna fucking like you, right? And so especially in this day and age, it makes no sense. Do we not learn from something that happened not even 100 years ago at this point? Like, if you act a fool, you will get got, period. But then again, if you do good, you will also get got. Either way, didn't do no stupid fuck shit. You never know one day when they just snap, and when they said that out loud, I'm tired of this nigga, I'm tired of this nigga. Suddenly 5 more are out here agreeing with him. Now you have 6 new ops at your head. So get this. He was actually assassinated, right? He was assassinated on January 24th, 41 CE. Cool. So you would think, kind of, when you think assassination of an emperor, you know, maybe some poison, or just like what happened in Julius Caesar. Nah, the guards got him. The Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard got this nigga. Like, they were tired of it too. And then to make sure everything was done, obviously senators came in, checked on him, probably did some other fuck shit to him, and that's that. So just like he was given the name Caligula, you know, as a young boy, which just meant little boots, he then became, after he passed, the Mad Emperor, and in all, the Mad Emperor Caligula. Crazy as fuck. I think what I find so interesting about it is like his legacy, because like obviously like when you think of Roman emperors, you think of the ones that have done like great things. You think of the one that, you know, was the first emperor, and then also the guy before him that began the whole thing. And you think about stuff like that and how his name is synonymous with so many great things. So when you think of Roman names being synonymous with stuff, you don't think of negative shit, right? But then when you have Caligula, it's just all negative shit. Like you have it, like my dad said, in the business world, right? You have it in movies and books and tropes and TV shows, a Caligula ass motherfucker. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful story about this horrible person. Do not act like him. Please don't. I'll be very disappointed and a little bit scared of you. We're gonna get you on a list. Maybe 2. We don't know. But like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.